Fanny, and we got some great great topic for y'all tonight. And I haven't done as much digging, but like when I saw this, it was like for me, it was like something I think I need to pay attention to, or I can need, or something I can at least learn from. Now, like I said, I don't know that much about like all of the. I don't even know if it's a political thing, but I don't know much about like the presidency and things in that such nature. And so, even though Fanny wasn't ready to come back here, I had to tap in with her to enlighten me on this, to educate me on this. Even just even just communicating, she was like, "I understand the outrage. I still don't understand the outrage." And so, I'm basically here to learn and give my take. Fanny, tell us, man, what's going on?
But before we get started with any of that, I just want to say thank you for everybody for joining us tonight. Like I always say, you could be anywhere, but you decided to join us. Thank each and every one of you guys. Thank you for Super Rainbow Queen, Ashley, Cloud Watchers, Replay Game, and of course, the dedicated Reverb Nation. Shout out to each and every one of you guys. And don't forget to like this video and share it out if you can. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. So, yeah, it's a lot going on in this country. It's a lot going on. First, it started off in DC. Now they are currently, hey, Bree Bree, um, they are currently what I consider my second home in Chicago, Illinois. Um, I have family there, and to hear this, it's just really, it's like, wow, wow, Chicago. And from my research that I did, they're targeting high rate, what they deem is high crime rate states that are Republican states. And the goal, what they're using is to clean up and lower the crime rate in each of these cities. And the cities that they are targeting specifically, we already know about DC because they've been to DC and they're currently in Illinois. But they're also targeting as well um, Kansas, Louisiana, Maryland, Mississippi, Missouri, Ohio, South Carolina, South Dakota, Tennessee, Texas, and West Virginia. And they are going to be deploying a total of 1,700 troops in 19 of these states. And I want to give credit to the person that I got my first information. His name is Anton Daniels. So shout out to him. He is currently have a video on his channel, and one of the young men on there is talking about um, what their plans are from when the troops are headed to Illinois, Chicago specifically. And in my research, I found it was very disturbing that the majority of these states where the troops are headed either have black mayors, um, and they are highly populated by black and brown people. And the scenario is that they're there to clean up the high crime rate. Some people are happy to see that, but most people are not, due to the fact of what they've seen, what's been going on, what happened in Washington, D.C. The mayor speaking about what happened in Washington, D.C. And the story goes, something. Before I get started, let me give a disclaimer. Everything that I'm saying are for educational purposes. Um, they are they are not based on facts. They're just my opinion. I'm gonna just say that. So, hey, sissy, thank you for coming. Um, the mayor of Washington D.C. was outraged when they came there because they saw an increase of illegal immigrants being attacked. Um, I saw a video where a man was literally sitting on his porch in his backyard, and his backyard was basically where his deck was. He was smoking a cigarette, and it was like in the alley type situation. He's a homeowner. He's not a renter. It's a family home that they've owned for over 30 years. And they troops walked up to him and told him, asked him why was he there. And he said that he was sitting out there smoking a cigarette. Wasn't nothing wrong with him smoking a cigarette. Now keep in mind, guys, this is happening in the US. Um, they basically told him it was illegal for him to sit on his back deck and smoke a cigarette. Either he put the cigarette out or he was going to be arrested and detained. Of course, he was outraged and he did not agree with them. He explained to them that he was a homeowner, he was not an illegal, that he wasn't breaking any laws. They didn't care about any of that. So that was the outrage of different situations that happened in DC. Now back to Illinois. The story that's being reported, according to Anton Daniels, is that if you've been to Chicago, you know. Chicago is highly populated. I'm gonna just say, if you've been to Chicago, you know. Like I said, I love Chicago. It's a beautiful city. I have family there. Shout out to my sister who's there. Um, Chicago has its issues, just like a lot of major big cities have their issues as well. And one of the young men basically said while he was out giving his commentary, he basically explained that Chicago is with the, they with it.
Yeah,
They
let me cut
with
you off.
it.
Let me cut you off because I've seen like several videos of these. I don't know, y'all say what do y'all call these young boys? YNs. I'm gonna just say the younger generation. But these YNs was literally, I mean, they was gathered into groups and they was just like daring. You know what I'm saying? They was making these videos daring the troops to pull up on them, and it was like I heard them saying things like this. They were saying like they literally were saying like, "Yo, we heard that these troops can even do like 20 push-ups without getting tired. They look all flimsy. They don't look like." And I'm just saying this here. Listen, these folks, I'm telling y'all YNs right now, these people are trained to kill. So all of that, y'all got switches and Dracos and all of that. I'm telling you now, y'all best be careful fooling around with these troops. This is what these folks was trained to do. They wasn't trained to walk around like y'all walk around on the street. Y'all see, y'all doing a lot of life taking, and y'all just take that from movies and what y'all see. These folks are trained. So somebody that's trained versus somebody that's influenced is a deadly person. So y'all please be careful. I don't even think it need to go that route, but I just wanted to say that I think y'all YNs or whatever y'all call yourself, y'all should be careful when y'all speaking like y'all think that these soldiers may look like they can't do 20 push-ups. Listen, push-up ain't got nothing to do with holding that artillery and holding that thing and being trained to take you from a distance. You know what I'm saying? Um, Definitely be careful with that one. Go ahead, Fanny. I'm sorry.
um, and the thing of it is that I think people are frustrated with this current administration because of everything that's been taking place, the different laws that have been now in place. And I think people are not really thinking. They're acting on sheer emotion and frustrations. And
Well,
it's
could you
just
hold on, catch me up real quick because I might not be up to date. Because only what I know is that okay, this whatever's happening, these troops are being sent to Chicago to stop the violence. They saying there's so many killings that's happening in Chicago that this is probably the only solution to it. Why why is there a lot of Chicago residents? Why are they upset that there's troops that come and try to stop the violence in Chicago? what's it to be upset about? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Is it certain laws that they just upset about, or is it just like, do they feel like they're being picked on? Why is it upset? Because I'm thinking, yo, if they come to Flint, Michigan, and I'm standing and I know it's dangerous, if they sending those troops to come stop the crime rate, I'm gonna be one happy resident. So I'm trying to figure out why. I mean, I might be missing something. So that's why I'm asking you to update me on why a lot of these residents are upset.
I think American citizens are upset because it's a certain group of people that are being targeted. From my research, not only from his channel, but also another source, that they are targeting homeless people as well. Homeless people in this country are now being targeted for being homeless. And my question is to the American citizens, taxpayers and non-taxpayers, when did being homeless become a crime? Why are homeless people being targeted? Why are homeless people considered criminal? And I think that's why people are so upset, because the narrative is being, okay, we're going to come and clean up your state. But once they get there, it's a certain group of people that they're specifically targeting. And that's why people are upset. That's why people are upset. They are targeting illegal immigrants, the homeless, and um, black and brown people. And people are, when you target a certain group of people, and you're going to be on high alert. Just imagine sitting on your porch doing anything you would normally do after a hard day's work. Maybe you out cutting your grass, or maybe you go out smoking a cigarette or having a bottle of wine, and they roll up on you telling you what you're doing is illegal. And if you disagree with them or whatever, and you ask them what statute does that fall under, they themselves don't even know. And next thing you know, you being slammed to the ground and you being detained as an American citizen. We're talking about America, and it's just like, I think that's why people are upset. That's why people are outraged, because this is happening to American citizens. And I think that's where the frustration lies, because you can't, it's just like if I say, TSM, I'm coming to your house for dinner. I'm going to bring your favorite dish, mac and cheese. But I show up with 19 other people and they are armed. You're going to have a problem with that. They kick in your door and you like, hey, what did I do? You know what I'm saying? And I think that's why people are so upset, because one thing is being said, oh, we're coming there to clean up your city. Who doesn't want their city to be rid of high crime? Who doesn't want their city to be like, hey, we welcome each and every one of y'all. We don't have a high unalive rate. We don't have a high drug rate or whatever. Who doesn't want their city to be safer? But once you get there and you specifically target a certain group of people, of course you're going to be on alert. Of course you're going to be on alert. Am I saying is it right? No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is these are happening to American citizens. And keep in mind,
Yo, I
people.
think first off, shout out to everybody that came in. I really appreciate y'all. Zay, La Keisha, and everybody else I may have missed. I think honestly, Fanny, everybody needs to calm down and rethink, reobliterate, take a step back, and rethink. Um, Even on the opposite side, you know what I'm saying? Even with them, you know what I'm saying? They need to step back and they need to figure it out. Like, okay, now we're aware of what's going on. I think they should take a step back, figure it out, reobliterate it, put some different plans in place. As far as us, I think we really need to calm down and settle down. As far as these YNs, the dudes that's on the street, because we have a voice, right? You know what I'm saying? That's one thing we do have is a voice. So we do have the right to change whatever law is in hand. You know, all we got to do is vote. Of course, it don't sound good, but a few riots. You know what I'm saying? With stuff like that, they listen to the American people, and I feel like if neither party take a step back and reiterate that we're gonna be in a bunch of trouble. Yo, because you gotta think about it. One of these troops take somebody out. You think they're gonna be held accountable for that when they doing their job?
No, but you got to also think when you're talking about people who have raw emotion. I'm not saying that is right, but people act on raw emotion. They're not thinking about their rights as far as voting people out of office and laws being changed. They are responding by sheer emotion. And that's what gets people in a lot of trouble. Sheer emotion. Like they're not thinking about, okay, next time is for us to vote for our next governor, our next mayor, our next judge, our congresswoman or man, our next president. They're not thinking of that far ahead. They're thinking about at this particular moment, these people have invaded our home and we're going to do whatever. They're not thinking logically. They're not thinking about these people are trained. They're thinking about, oh, we street. And that's where the raw emotion comes in at. People don't think ahead of time. They think in that particular moment. And I think a lot of this gonna happen because I know when they come to my state, I wish I can say it's gonna be it's gonna be very interesting because I noticed one thing the young man had mentioned. He said he wanted people to stay in the house. And if you been to Chicago, you know what that means. You know what that means. And it's I think it's a very sad time for our country because as an American citizen and taxpayer, I don't think that we should wake up and we already have police. Okay, we already have a judicial system set in place. Just imagine you walk out your front door and you see something you would see in foreign land, but it's on American soil. That in itself is scary. Okay, that itself is scary. You know what I'm saying? Like I have a son, he's 17. He walked down the street because he might look a certain type of way. They snatch him up, then what? Then what? Just for walking down the street. Something that he does every day. You know what I'm saying? And it's like you on your own property, grilling, having a glass of wine, watching your children play, whatever. They walk up on you and they like, hey, you got to go in the house. Or, hey, what is your name? Where's your ID? And it's just like, just imagine how that feels. Just imagine how that would feel to them. You walking down the street.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this though. Do we still compound our rights though? Like, let's say that situation do happen.
Can you do
Are
what?
are we in a right? Are we in a wrong if we refuse? You know what I'm saying? Like, what if we on our property? They want to see our ID, and we're like, no, we don't have to show you my ID. Does that law change? Like, how does that work?
From the videos that I've seen and things that I've watched, is basically you don't have a choice. It's either you give me what I asked you for or you're going to be detained. Period. Period. And in some instances, some people have been hurt. Some people have been hurt straight up just by doing what they do on a regular basis. It don't matter if you at home. If they come, it's just like I have a huge deck in my backyard. If I'm sitting on my back deck and watching my children play, or if I'm sitting on my front porch, just chilling, they roll up on me and say, "Hey, what's your name? What you doing sitting out here?" I'm just sitting here. I'm not breaking any laws by just sitting here. And if I refuse to identify myself, it can go left, just like that. It can go left. And I think that's where people are so frustrated because it's like, we already have police. Why are you guys really here? You know what I'm saying? Like, just imagine you doing something that you do consistently every day. Every day. You out with your boys. Somebody come up on you like, hey, what are you out here doing? You like, I'm out here playing basketball with my sons. Why? What's up? You got any ID? Keep in mind you're on your property. And you like, ID for playing basketball? You heard what I said. Where's your ID? And then they start questioning the kids, like, who children are these? What's going? They start asking you questions, and you're just like, you're not thinking about at that moment. Well, I'm gonna vote you out. I'm gonna.
So
You're
how
thinking
far
about that.
how far is this gonna spread? Is it gonna stop in Chicago? Do it hit Mississippi? Do it go to, like, how far does this spread? And how long do they plan on having this stuff in place? Like, how long we have to deal with this as U.S. citizens? And how many different states have been hit? And how many different states they plan on hitting with this?
From my information, they already have DC. Now they're in Illinois, and they have a total of 17 additional states. And they are, let me read them off to you once again. Um, Let me find them again. The states are Kansas, Louisiana, Maryland, Mississippi, Missouri, Ohio, South Carolina, South Dakota, Tennessee, Texas, and West Virginia. So that's where they are headed.
And they are
That-
picking these states based on what, though? The crime rate? Like, how are they? How is they picking it?
From the information I got, they're saying high crime rate, but basically Republican states, of course, and a majority of these states have black mayors. I'll let you figure that out.
I'm
So,
just trying. I mean, it's just weird because it's like it's so many other it's so many other things that those resources can go to. Like, yo, we in America and we dealing with cartels and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? I just feel like there's so many other more things that resources can get used on. Trafficking. You know what I'm saying? A lot of children coming up missing in Ohio. Babe, you know how many kids come up missing in Ohio?
but that's you gotta look deeper. You gotta look deeper. I think a lot of people is looking at the surfacey stuff. They're not looking what's deep. And I think the people who are looking at the deeper stuff, that's where the raw emotions come in at. That's where the raw emotions come at. That people, a certain group of people are being targeted, and there is, what you saying makes sense, but at the same time, like I said, if you out playing with your boys playing basketball and somebody come up on you and ask for your ID, and you're like, for what? Playing basketball with my sons, and you refuse, or you give, they deem you as you're being confrontational. What do you have to hide? And you like, I'm not being confrontational. I just want to know why you asking me. Like, what am I doing wrong? How many times have you gone out and played basketball with your sons and nobody came up on you and be like, hey, what you, and then keep in mind, you're on your own property. You're on your own property. And this happens to you. What do you do in that situation? Do you go, next time it's for me to vote, I'm gonna vote you out? You're not thinking about that at that particular moment. Those emotions gonna take over. At that moment, you might experience, you might be angry, you might comply. I don't know. But at the end of the day, you're gonna have an emotion, and they're gonna react to how you act. It doesn't matter that your children are there, and it's just like I said before. When did it become illegal to be homeless? Why are certain groups of people being targeted? Just like to add to your question, why these particular states? Why not all 52 states in America? Why are just because they are highly Republican states, and it coincidentally, most of these states, if not all, have black mayors. So that's concerning to me in itself because it's like, why? Why aren't we going to all 52 states? Why aren't we going to cities that also have Caucasian mayors, governors? Why are we targeting a certain group of people? That's what I want answered. Why are we targeting a certain group of people?
What I do know is I do know that this time he pissed everybody off. He usually have a certain group on his side. This man pissed everybody off, and he ruined his last. I heard there ain't no more rappers messing with him no more. I heard it, a lot of people stopped messing with him. Man, you this is one. You know how they say you can see the cookie crumble or something like that. You can see it when it's happening. We can all see what's happening right now, and it's not good.
And I think it's even more dangerous now because of the breaking news with what is his name? He recently passed away, I believe today. He's a Republican, very controversial. Charlie Kirk. He passed away, and I think with that and how he passed away, that's just gonna add to it. They're gonna be on a more heightened alert, for anybody they seem to be combative. And it's just like it's really concerning. Very concerning. You in your yard, you know, whatever, wherever you may be. You know what I mean? I've heard they've gone to people's jobs, such people eating dinner.
Yeah,
And
so should we all be concerned, American citizens? And what should we be exactly concerned about, right? And what would you do in this matter? Like what like if you was the leader of just like, a whole community, what would you tell us with you being our leaders how to deal with this just as a personal like no rules to it, no handbook. What would you do personally? Like how to just like kind of like even not involve in all of this? How would you deal with this?
like I always do, I always educate myself on certain things like my rights. And one, I wouldn't be combative. I would never put myself or place my family in harm's way to where I'm going to argue with somebody. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to, of course, know what my rights are. Um, it's tough to say what you would do. It's very tough because, like I said, you never know what you would do until you placed in that situation. I can sit up here and give you a playbook and be like, "Hey, do this, 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 and this," but until you're placed in that situation, from my understanding, it was a lawyer. He was at the airport recently. It was a rapper coming from Atlanta on a flight to LA to shoot a music video. And because his hair was braided, he had the chain and the certain outfit. And they stopped him at the airport. And he's like, "Hey, what are you guys checking me for?" He was like, "Because you look suspicious." He was like, "I look suspicious? Are you kidding me?" They were like, "Yeah, you look suspicious." Went through all his stuff. He had $8,000, $8,500 in cash, and they took it and didn't give it back. Didn't give it back. And that money was he was supposed to pay for the video that he was heading to LA for. He had to hire an attorney, which cost him $15,000. He got his attorney fees back, but the $8,000 they said they weren't going to give it back to him. And the only crime he committed was, in their eyes, he looked suspicious. He wasn't doing anything wrong. He wasn't yelling and cursing at anybody. They said he looked suspicious.
Do you
And
feel
just,
like we're going backwards though? Do you feel like we're going backwards? Do you feel like do you feel like we're being destroyed as a whole, or do you feel like we're going backwards? What is your overall, like, if you just take a step back and look at everything that's going on right now? What is like, what's the overall? If you could just sum it up for somebody who don't even know that just came to this country and they need to know what's going on, like how would you even sum it up if they have no knowledge of this stuff?
of course, we're going backwards. We're absolutely going backwards. Look what they're doing to things we all grew up on, PBS Kids. Who in here never saw and watched Sesame Street? I know I have. You know what I'm saying? Who didn't grow up watching, um, different shows? And it's just like, all those are going to be gone. They're going to be gone. You know what I'm saying? And it's sad because they're going to be replaced with an agenda that they're trying to spread, and then they're taking away things because they're saying black people need to get over the fact that slavery happened. We in 2025, why are we still mad about what happened then? I saw a video um today. It made me sad. It made me sad because, like I said, I have a 17-year-old male, and it came from the president's mouth. And in the video, how he described black males in this country was very sad and disturbing. Very, very sad and disturbing. And watching that video, it just make you think about how invaluable black men in this country are. But the most powerful tool as a black male is your mind. Not not a weapon, not your fist, is your mind. Educate yourself, be educated, not only as your rights, but laws in your state. Be educated about the things that you are passionate about. Because when you're not, you can be easily manipulated into think what's right is right actually wrong and what's wrong is actually right. And to hear some of the things that came out of the president's mouth, I'm just like, wow. Like, how many black men voted for this man, and this is how he really feel about you? And it was just,
Because you just said that, and I had to ask this question: is this a reason that it's important to vote?
um, I think it's important to vote if you want. People always say vote so you could be heard, but are you really being heard? You know what I'm saying? Because you're not going to get everything that they're not going to give you everything. When they're in a campaign trail, they promise to do this and do that, but it's totally different once once you're nominated and you win those votes. It's something totally different. So I would never tell anybody not to vote. What I would say is vote for the person you feel like represents you, what you believe in, what you will want, how you want to be represented. And you know, it's very, very difficult because you see so much. You see how they're taking away historical things about slavery in all these museums. And their biggest target so far has been the Smithsonian. And it's just like, what are you guys going to do with everything you've taken? What are you going to do with it? Is this even legal? It's just questions that need to be answered. Like, is any of this even legal? You know what I'm saying? Like, each city,
Yeah,
state,
we got Vonnie L'Oreal who sent in $1 donation for a highlighted question, and she wanted me to ask you, why do you think a certain group is being targeted? Is there a certain reason you think?
well, based on the video that I saw and what the president said, is that a certain group of people were born and raised to unalive other people, and that they are naturally dangerous. And I think that's what a lot of racism comes from, is that people will look at you and be like, hey, and they don't see you as being a fellow American. They don't see you as being a fellow human being. They see you as a threat. They see you as an imminent threat. And when you are threatened, what is your response? And I think that when people are more educated and more open minded and have more free will to understand and love people genuinely, and it's not based on the hue of their skin, I think in a real world, in a loving world, people will get along better. But it's so much hatred within our own community, black on black crime, and it's like, where do you even start? Where do you even start? You can't always go to um our government and be like, hey, fix this. Why can't you fix it in your home? Why can't you fix it?
Thank you for coming through. We really appreciate you.
Why can't you fix it in your heart? Why do my appearance alone make you feel threatened? Why does that why does that bother you? You know what I'm saying? And it's so sad and it's so unfortunate that unfortunately we do us to ourselves in our own community. How many times have I said to you, TSMs, skin folk ain't kin folk? Because it's true. People will dislike you, don't even know you. For what? For what? And have like hatred in their heart towards you for what? And if we're doing it to ourselves in our own community, you basically setting the mold and the platform to set up for everybody to do the same. It's just like there's been videos going on with news anchors. I forget the name of this. It's I've never seen this news, but it's Republican ran. Um, they had, what is his name? He's a former athlete. I can't think of his name right now, but he was invited on their news show. And one of the questions that was asked to him is, why me as a white man can't say the N word? You guys say it to each other every day. He said, me as a white man, why can't I call you that? Why can't I say that to you? Why can't I say that in your company without being harmed or afraid or threatened? But you say it to each other every day. And the video went viral because his response was he leaned over, he
And
asked a
he said, "Go ahead and say it." He said, "I say it with you." He said, "Come on, I
so you
say it with
video. Just saw the video. And I'm just like, mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. That's true, skeptic. No loyalty. It's crazy. It really is. And it's really, really sad because how can you expect when you in your own community don't even love each other. You know how much jealousy and hatred this is amongst black folk, but you demand respect from non-black and brown folk, and it's crazy because it's like the lines are so blurred. Like where do you like
What's
like
up,
where do you
Virginia? We appreciate you. Make sure you hit that thumbs up.
it's like where do you start? Like where do you start? You can't always run to your government and be like, hey, fix this, fix that. It starts with you fixing your heart. You have a heart problem. And I think a lot of people don't realize that it's a heart issue. You know what I'm saying? Why sit up here and judge somebody? I don't like you because this, or I hate you because of this. Especially females were so disconnected. Yep. Very, very true. Very, very true. And it's just sad because you sit back and you think, why am I hated so much by my own community? You know what I'm saying? But then you demand and require respect from everyone else. How do you get that when you don't even have love and respect for yourself and your fellow brother or sister? How do you get that? That question needs to be answered before you can go out here and expect and demand respect for someone else when you don't even love, respect your fellow brother and sister. That's the question that needs to be asked. You know what I'm saying? Because it wasn't a white man who took my son away from me. It wasn't. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I can't sit up and be, it was the white man who did it. No, no, it wasn't. And I think when black folks really sit back and take accountability and responsibility for their actions and stop sitting back and being so jealous and envious of someone else, and it builds up hatred, resentment, and animosity, I think that's a start. I think that's a stepping stone to a beginning. But until we get there, it's going to continue because people will embrace the hatred and mask it with love, but the reality of it is it's still hate.
Yo, 313, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for coming through. We really appreciate y'all. Make sure that y'all hit the thumbs up if you are enjoying.
So
For the people who don't know, Fanny is the co-host, the original co-host. This is the Locked In podcast, which we do daily. Out sick, and she still wasn't. I don't think she still was ready to come back, but this topic was needed, and this is like her space right here. This is what she's excellent at executing this space, and so I drug her up here to see if we can get it popping out for y'all. So y'all make sure that y'all tap in with Fanny. Drop the hearts for Fanny. Show some love for the co-host. Go ahead, Fanny. We got 5 more minutes in here, y'all. So we're gonna give y'all the best we got.
so what do you think with everything that I said? What is your input? What is your take on everything that I said? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you have more questions?
And I may add that we just are living in some scary, messed up times. We just got through dealing with the virus thing. You know what I'm saying? That messed us up for a long time already, and now this. And I just feel like, yo, it's only that's why I asked you, was we going backwards? It's like every other year is something. Like this country have never just had a good decade of just everything is cool. It's always something in this country, and it's like, yo, do I need to? Because I don't vote, so it's like, yo, will my one vote matter? Like, are we putting the wrong people in positions? You know what I'm saying? I start thinking about all of that stuff, but I just think we living in a scary time right now. To where I don't know what the hell is going on, but it's some kind of control. They're trying to control us somehow. They're trying to control this country somehow, and they just don't know how to do it. And so they're just experimenting with different things, such as the virus. You know what I'm saying? And so it's just scary for me.
Um, Gigi Andrea says, if we stop hating on each other and unite as a race, we will be more powerful. We are very smart people, whether we're hanging in the streets or in the classroom. We're smart. I agree. I really
Yo, but
do.
see, that's the problem. It's difficult to get all of us on the same accord. We like to be smarter than each other. We want to be the toughest one. We want to be heard. We care what people think about us. We want to get this many likes. We don't want to talk about that because it's not gonna give us this many likes. We don't like you because he pay more attention to you. We don't like her because she pay more. She act like she like him. Like what? Why is you know what I'm saying? Like why we can't just all be united regardless of what? Because at the end of the day, we all have family that we get into it with these blood relatives, and at the end of the day, we still got to go back and be family. So why not be that? It's just like black folk, you know what I'm saying? And so it's difficult, and I don't think we're gonna ever even come to that conclusion because we so messed up. And I think social media has a lot to do with that.
And I think also when you don't have people in your back to love you enough to tell you the truth and be your powerless cheerleader, then what do you do? What do you do? If you're not being held accountable, what do you do? When it's, hey girl, you go, I know that's right, girl. Hey, that's my dog. That what do you do? When that's your only influence, what do you do? That's the question. What do you do? And I think too much of that is going on. Too much of that is going on. Nobody is being held accountable for their actions. It's like, oh, I've known him for 20 years. Oh, I went to school with him. I grew up with her. But when you going to be held accountable for your actions?
Drewski, thank
Because
you for stopping by. Much respect. We appreciate that. Y'all listen, we about to get ready to get up out of here. We gonna have a great episode tomorrow. Hopefully I can get my manager back and we be good and she can just kind of script it because we always got some great education for you, but we don't make it even like education. We make it fun, we make it interesting. We, try to come off as family and just try to all embrace each other and we interact with y'all in the bottom too. It's not something we just up here at the top and just spitting our facts. We like to know what y'all think as well. And so normally at the end, we always give some great inspiration. And I was always told ladies first. And so I'm gonna let Fanny give y'all her inspiration and I'll tap in after.
I want to say to everybody, be safe out there, whether they're coming into your city or not. Pray for those that you know or don't know, that whether it be a coworker, a neighbor, even family, pray for Chicago. Pray because that's what they need. They need prayer and love. And if they're coming in a city near you, be safe out there. Be safe. Educate yourself. Be safe. Don't try to be G.I. Jane or G.I. Joe to go up against these people because I don't want anybody to lose their life behind trying to be gangster against people like TSM said who have been trained. And I just say, I pray for each and every one of you guys. And thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate each and every one of you guys for being here. Once again, shout out to the replay gang and the cloud watchers and everyone in the chat. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you, TSM, as well. And just stay safe, guys. Just really stay safe out here.
Yo, I definitely want to encourage y'all to like say a prayer. I know a lot of people I know is street. A lot of y'all be street savvy. Everybody is not like TSM, but I'm telling you, whether you street or not, I don't care if you're the toughest person on planet Earth. Prayer always gonna work. So if you're going through something, just pray. I know prayer sometimes don't come the time you need it to come, but that's not what prayer is. Prayer is making sure that your voice is being heard and what you need to be answered is being answered. And sometimes that's in due time. So just be patient with your prayers and many prayers to Chicago, everybody out there. And like she said, if y'all encounter this, just try your best to be safe. We on tomorrow at 9 o'clock, and I want to say shout out to the sponsors, Apex. Y'all go check their product out. Go to Instagram, Twitter, let them know I sent y'all. Use promo code YO. That's Y000. Y'all get 30% off. Also, y'all tap in with my nail polish brand, Yo Nail Polish. Y'all can go to TSM Entertainment, check the website out, or go to my spread shop and check out some of the merchandise, man. Until next time, I will see y'all, and I love y'all. Have a nice one.